potential unconstitutional military deployments to Chicago, end quote. The Powerball jackpot is now a whopping $750 million for tonight's drawing. The odds of winning are 1 in 292 million. And Lionel Richie was inside of his $6 million home in Beverly Hills when police say a stranger tried to get in. The 76-year-old singer's alarm went off and seemed to scare the suspect. A 38-year-old man was arrested. Nothing was taken from Lionel Richie's home and no one was hurt. Get BIN News now on demand, 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Watch us on Facebook Live. Then hear us on WBOK1230.com. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa. Now, what you say, good people? What's going on with ya? It is Tuesday afternoon, and you know what time it is. Time for us to get busy, have these conversations. This week as we get closer to the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I know you want to have these conversations. So for all of y'all that are looking online, I got this youngster that done come up in here, and I'm like, he look younger than me. The world famous Eddie Compass is in the building. Chief, what's going on?
Oh, everything's good. I'm working overtime today. I was on the morning show.
I know.
When you called me, I said, I'll be there.
Man, I'm so glad. Oh, well, first of all, thank you. But I was fortunate enough to see you get that award this weekend because we knew Jonathan Everett and all the folks over at Rock of Ages, and I knew he was going to do it up and do it up right. You know, there's a photo of your award of that big eagle.
Wow.
Everybody got a picture of it.
Wow.
So talk about that, though.
Well, you know, it was very humbling.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've gone through a lot, a whole lot. You know, when you give your heart and soul to something and you, for lack of a better term, being thrown away like a dirty dish rag. You know, I lost.
You still feel that way?
To a certain extent,
right.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I've forgiven the people who have hurt me. You know what I mean? The people who conspired to take my job and take my position.
Right.
You know, but God is good. You know, when I look at it from the perspective, you know, I talked to Bishop Paul Martin almost every day during Katrina. Not almost every day during Katrina. Mm-hmm. And he told me, he said, the mayor is not moving you. God is allowing you to move from a situation that he don't want you any part of. And when the Danzig incident broke loose with the investigation being tainted, for lack of a better term,
right.
and the man that took my place saying he didn't read the report, you know, how you not read that report on an investigation of that magnitude? I have no idea. I'm not in anybody else's head, but they were blaming me for this, and I wasn't even on the police department at the time. And then when the actual subpoenas went out, I wasn't subpoenaed by the prosecution or by the defense.
So you weren't part of it at all?
I wasn't part of it at all. So that's when the truth started coming up. But unfortunately, it took years for that to happen. You know, I was being tried, convicted, and sentenced on innuendo, supposition, and conjecture. And, you know, it's hard to stay still. You know, and when I got forced to resign, I lost my drop money. I lost almost $500,000.
I heard you say that this weekend.
Yeah, it was crazy because I had just gotten to the drop. And when the mayor forced me to resign, I was in shock because Sally Farmer had told him she did not send me to New York to flip the coin at the Saints game.
So I want to kind of set that straight without you saying it because I want to be the one to say it. Sally Foreman was Ron Foreman, or is Ron Foreman's wife. Yeah. Who ran against the mayor for the mayorship.
Well, let me go deep into that.
Okay.
When I was chief of police, the mayor had said some negative things about Bishop Martin and the rest of the ministers. He called them bling bling ministers, and they were furious, as where they should have been, because he didn't really understand what their sources of incomes were and things like that. He said some very derogatory things.
Right.
So the ministers were very upset. So I had a very good relationship with him, and he asked me to get a meeting together. So it was at, I think, Moses Gardens Church. I mean, I'm not talking like 50 ministers was there. Ooh. And Bishop Martin chaired it. And I had Bishop Brister, Bishop Wiley,
if they were big time, they were
you know, Tom Watson, that's what I'm thinking of. And so Bishop Martin told the mayor, he said, "You're very fortunate. That young man is your chief because we love and respect him. So we're going to squash this." And Sally Farmer told me after that meeting, she said, "I never knew how much the ministers loved you." And that was like 2 years before Katrina. So now, after Katrina, when the mayor told me don't go to New York to flip the coin, because the president's father, Bush 41, NFL, asked me to flip the coin. As a matter of fact, it was Arnold Filco.
So let's go back to that, too, because I want to talk about that, because I saw Arnie in the church.
Right.
This past weekend. Him, General Honore,
Right.
LeJean. I saw LeJean
Right.
there. I saw a lot of NOPD officers that wore their uniforms in there.
For me, they
But-
want
right.
to support me.
Right. So that was number one. But the part about flipping the coin, you're talking about during Katrina or after Katrina.
After Katrina, when Saints
They
played the New York
asked you
Giants.
to go up to New York
Right, to flip the coin.
to flip the coin.
The NFL asked me to go because I think the mayor had said some derogatory things about President Bush and Bush 41 and over the NFL. I don't know who it was. They did not want the mayor to flip the coin with the former president.
Oh,
And the NFL on the field coach said, we want Chief Compass. So the mayor told me the only way you go to New York if me or Sally Foreman tell you. And so,
Sally Foreman.
so the next day, Sally Foreman said the mayor changed his mind and they want you to flip the coin. And they told me I could bring one person. I brought Troy Henry, my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go to New York. And so when we go to New York, we get off the plane and the people just started clapping. And I'm looking at Troy and Troy's looking at me. I said, "What are you clapping for?" He said, "I think they're clapping for you." And I'm like, "Nah, them people don't
You
know
didn't
me."
know?
I didn't know because, I'm working during Katrina. I know I'm on TV a lot, but I never knew the people in New York. And so when we get out the airport, they have 6 motorcycles and SUV
Oh, wow.
waiting for me.
Oh, wow.
And so we get in the SUV.
They escorting you.
Yeah, and they bring me to a hotel, and I got a luxury suite. Then the chief of police of New York comes and tells me the great job he thought I did under some trying circumstances. Then I meet with some representatives from the White House to get my credentials to stand next to the President of the United States. And I'm standing, the former president. I'm standing next to Bush.
Because you had to be vetted.
Had to be vetted. So I'm
Right.
standing next to Bush 41 with all my credentials on, and we flipped the coin. Everybody told me I did a great job. Troy and I gets off the plane, and the mayor sends me a text. He said, "I can't believe you disobeyed me. I can't believe you went to New York without my permission.
What?
Come up with a 30 to 60-day exit plan." And I'm like, "Troy, look at this."
Wait a minute, but Sally is his
Press secretary.
communication
Right.
director.
So Sally tells the mayor she did not send me when he asked her. She said, no, Mr. Mayor, I didn't send the chief. So I'm showing this to Troy Henry, and Troy saying, "I can't believe this man wrote you this." So we were staying on the boat, and I don't know if you remember Dave Benella, president of the union. He was right outside.
Dave Nellis.
It just was coincidental. He was right outside the room where the mayor and I were.
Mhm.
And I said, "Mr. Mayor, I don't know who you talk to." I said, "Me and you have not always been on the same page, but I would never disobey a direct order." I said, "Sally Farmer told me to go." She said, "Well, Sally said she didn't." I said, "I don't care what Sally said. I'm telling you right now, right here, that Sally Farman sent me to New York." So we go back and forth like 20 minutes. So then I said, "No, Mr. Mayor, I've been knowing you since St. Peter Claver."
I was going to say, y'all were like
Yeah.
lifelong friends.
Well, we wasn't friends.
Friends,
We knew each
but
other.
y'all
We,
knew each
we
other.
never was friends.
Okay.
We was acquaintances because I was in his sister's class. I was never in his class.
Mhm.
But we weren't enemies. And so he looked me in the eye and he said, I said, "It comes to this. You've been knowing Sally a couple of years. You've been knowing me since first grade. You believe me, you believe Sally." And when he told me he believed Sally, then some things were said that couldn't be taken back.
Right.
And instead of 30-day exit plan, the next day I was
You was gone.
gone. But Dave Benelli was outside the door, and he said he heard everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "If he tries to force you out, we will stand by you." I said, "Dave, with all the things that's going on during Katrina, there is no scenario in which I would cause this type of disruption." I said, "No man is more important than the police department." I said, "So all I can tell you is, and including me."
But
I
do
said-
you think, though, Chief, that was a setup?
Oh, very much so. That was a setup. There's no
that probably
doubt.
came from higher ups other than him.
No, I think the mayor was looking for a way to get rid of me. And when
You
Sally Foreman gave him that opportunity, he took it. Because I was explaining to him, he didn't want to investigate. I said, Mr. Mayor, if I went by myself, how did I get the plane ticket? If I went by myself, how did I get the hotel room? How could I stand next to the President of the United States with Secret Service credentials if I was not vetted?
Right, because you had to be vetted.
I said, all you had to do is check to see who signed for the tickets, who signed for the hotel.
Did she sign for?
Well, I know one thing. I don't know who signed for it, but then when I said that, she eventually, when the truth started coming out after, she said she did send me. And she said the reason she sent me because me and the mayor was getting along so bad, she had to get me out the city. That was her excuse.
But she tell him that?
Yeah.
That was it?
I guess that was it. Yeah.
But
Now,
she lied.
I don't know when she told him that, but
I thought you meant.
no. This was
before you
after.
left.
This was after because once I got fired or forced to resign, I said that was it. So it was a long time that passed before she actually told the truth.
But Chief, that's like. I mean, isn't that like? I don't even know what to call it, but I mean that to me that's like a case against the city. Then.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what the thing was, though. You know, all I can tell you is when we were in Biblos, my family and I were in Biblos, Sally Foreman saw me in there. And she said, Chief, she said, I'm so sorry the mayor did you dirty, what he did. She said, Ron is running for mayor and he would love your support. I looked at her in the eye. I said, there's no scenario which I'd ever support your husband. I said, I'm not supporting the mayor. I'm not supporting anybody. I'm going on with my life. But she had the audacity and mitigated gall to ask me to support her husband.
After you
now,
lied.
Now think about this.
And killed my
She's
career.
the mayor's press secretary. And her husband runs against him. And she doesn't think there's a conflict of interest in that. You know? And she drove the wedge between us.
And I'm on the outside looking in. And after I heard what happened to you, and I'm saying to myself, Sally Foreman is Ron Foreman's wife. Why is she your press secretary? And he's running against you in the mayorship.
Right. But I was gone by then.
I didn't understand that.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it was so crazy. Like, I remember they had a ceremony when they were giving out medals for Katrina. Mm-hmm. And Warren Riley called me up and he said, look, there's a lot of press there. And the mayor really think it'll be very awkward if you come. I'm like, wow, I can't get my medal that I've earned.
Did you ever get it?
Yeah, he brought it to the hotel where I was working
but not in
and
person.
Gave it to him. In person. No, Warren Riley brought it. He saw me at the hotel where I was working at. Mm-hmm. And he gave me it. And I started not to take it because I was so upset that I didn't get it.
In front of everybody.
Right. But then I looked at it. I earned that medal. I wasn't letting anybody deny me getting that medal.
Let me ask you though, Chief. I know this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You still harbor it?
I'm still what?
Harboring it?
Well.
Or will you ever be able to let that
put
go?
it like this.
It ain't as hard as it was. I know that.
Pastor Luda, who is my pastor, he told me, he said, you have to forgive those who have hurt you.
Not for them. But for you.
Yeah, I'm going to that.
Yeah.
And Bishop Martin told me, he said, you cannot hold hard feelings because God will restore you.
Yep.
And it took a while, but I understand. I have no ill feelings towards Renee. I have no ill feelings towards Sally Foreman. I have no ill feelings towards Warren Riley, who took my job. Because, once he took my job, it was his police department. And then when he said he didn't read that report and signed it, that started the process, one of the main things from the federal consent decree that we're still under to this day. Mm. That's cost the city millions and millions of dollars. So, I don't have anything to do with the police department. I don't, I've gone on with my life. But it was hurt. It was hurtful because I gave my blood, sweat, and tears to that police department.
But you still have connection with a lot of those police officers still there.
Oh, I love the police officers. Many of those guys, like Kevin Stamps, who's in charge of the 7th District, I trained him. He's one of the best police officers. I loved Michael Glasser. He was on my task force. Mm-hmm. Ernie Demmer. I mean, he and I came up together in the 70s. I have many, many people on the police department. I'm talking about the people who took my place.
I'll never forget when I was working at Q93. It was Mardi Gras season, and I was hanging off the side of the boom box. So, you know, we used to have that great big old boom box on the trailer.
I remember that.
And we would cut in the corner, and I saw you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Chief, what's going on at that time? And you were telling me a story earlier about your boy and how you were teaching him karate.
Right.
And the boom box pulled off, but you hadn't finished talking. You ran 2 or 3 blocks.
That's right.
Full speed.
Oh, yeah.
To come tell me the rest of that story.
Yeah.
I was like, I know you winded. You want some water or something? No, bro.
I wasn't even breathe hard. It was so funny.
You won't even breathe hard.
Let me tell you, once I left.
I had on a leather jacket.
Let me tell you, once I had to, I finally got my 5th degree black belt with Eric O'Neill. And I got in the best shape of my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like God has blessed me. I'm 67 years old, and I feel like I'm in my 30s. You know, I mean, I do 1,000 sit-ups 3 times a week. I train NFL athletes. I train Leonard Fournette. I train Trey Turner, Lorenzo Dawes, Caden Ellis. You know, it's like God has given me a new life.
How much weight you lost?
I lost 70 pounds.
You lost a whole person.
A whole person.
Because when I saw you, I was like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
Because you had lost so much weight.
Yeah.
You're like, "No, man, I'm just in good shape."
I'm in good shape. I eat 1 meal a day. I juice 2 meals a day. You
know,
know,
that's what you was doing, the
juicing, yeah.
Right.
And I sit in the cold plunge. I go to that, sit in cold water, 35 to 40 degrees.
Is that with the ice?
That ice, yeah.
Ooh.
Well, it's not ice. It's a refrigerated cold plunge. You know, but, the main thing that I've gotten to close you with, because I got saved 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And
I see you in church, because you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I see you in church. You didn't see me, but I was at Franklin Avenue.
Yeah. Pastor Luda has turned my life around. He's taught me how to forgive. He's taught me how to get closure. He's taught me how to pray. He's taught me how to be a good father, a better husband. I mean, he is a fantastic man. And he is the reason that I didn't have to go to psychiatrists and everything. They tried to send me to psychiatrists. I got no help from them.
None.
Until I joined Franklin Avenue, I never got real close.
What did Katrina do to you?
It destroyed my career. It made me very guarded. I got rid of 90% of people in my life.
Yeah.
90% of people in my life, because those people who knew the truth that didn't stand up for me, their silence was tacit consent. Mm-hmm. Like when the mayor called for martial law to shoot the looters. And I told my guys, there's no scenario in which we shoot looters. The rules of engagement are still in place. People were saying that I said shoot the looters. They got a video of Nagin calling for martial law. First of all, only the federal government can call for martial law. And it's like that scenario flipped. And they were saying I called for martial law. And I'm like, no. And people who knew that the mayor did it didn't say anything. Mm-hmm. So their silence was tacit consent. So I lost respect for them. They said, well, Chief, we know you didn't do it. We didn't say anything. I said, exactly. You said nothing. And when I look at all the people I fought for,
that would not fight for you.
That would not fight for me. And then I looked at all the people that was hurt because of Katrina, because of me, like my friend Reuben Stevens. He got fired. Harry Mendoza got fired. These were great police officers who were punished for no reason. I went testify at their hearings, and they both got their jobs back. Yeah. These are the kind of things that was going on. Anybody else connected to me was poisoned. And it was wrong. It was ridiculous.
The city kind of left you in a position where you were a man on an island all by yourself. Did you want to leave here ever and just not come back?
Never. Because you bent me, but you won't break me.
Right.
You know, if I'd have left, then they'd have won. You know, I mean, I lost slur of everything. The officers on the police department gave me a gold badge. I had to sell that badge to pay my bills. You know, my ex-wife was pregnant with my son. I had a 3-year-old. I had 3 kids from my first marriage. I had a house note. When you lose $500,000 in your job, that's a hell of a thing.
Oh, you got to tell me.
You know,
I've been there.
But I don't know if you know Kelvin Adams. Him and Paul Vallis and Paul Pastrick, they hired me at the Recovery School District and gave me a second chance to get my job back.
Let me tell you something. Now, I'm going to speak on your behalf on this one, so something that I do know. Those men came to tell me that during the time that they were reorganizing and putting these schools together, there was so much fighting going on in it. They said you came in and straightened out all them kids, not beating them down, but having conversations with them, talking to them, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
And let me tell you what was the main thing we did. I reached out to Dr. Sharp, Peter Sharp, and we wrote a grant called the Circle of Courage, where we hired ex-offenders to be behavior interventionists in the schools. And we brought Amir Barak in. I don't know if you know Amir Barak.
I know Amir.
The young man went to jail when he was 16 for murder.
Yep.
Turned his whole life around. And
He's still acting too.
Right. And we took kids at risk and put them all at the same school. At Booker T, we had about 150 kids there. And we brought 8 ex-offenders in there. And we made those young people understand what it's like to go to jail and that they didn't want to do it. And we taught them how to be men. We taught them how to be proud. We taught them how to do their homework. And when you took the kids that was causing problems in the school and put them all together, I said, you know who's the baddest person in school? Me.
Yeah.
I said, now, we here to help you. We here to turn your life around. And then when they saw like people like Amir, who they respected from the streets, we was able to turn that whole system around. Dr. Vallis said, we don't have any fights anymore.
Right.
I said, because we don't have to bully the kids and not fighting. We have to love them and make them don't want to fight.
I remember that like it was just.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. That was one of the most, and that's when Bishop Martin and I really was having serious conversations. He said, "This is why God moved you, because nobody could have came." He said nobody could have came in that system and had the respect from the streets to get a man like Amir Barak and these ex-offenders to come to the table. Nobody could get academia like Dr. Chuck, an adjunct professor at Loyola, and I taught classes at Tulane. So I brought everybody together, and James Carter was the conduit that put us together. He was a councilman.
I remember that too. Councilman at the
Councilman James Carter. Shout out, give me a little bell ring.
There you go.
James Carter.
Oh, you can tell he been here. He
my man. My man. Love that young man.
All right, we got to take a break here. We're going to come back. Who's Superintendent, the police chief? Eddie Compass in the building. We'll take some calls when we come back. Everybody will take.
Hey everybody, it's Graylin Bryant Banks
and Kimber White Dupree
from the Front Porch.
Some combos are too good to miss. Now you can pull up a chair to the front porch anytime.
Just search WBOK Media and subscribe to the Front Porch Podcast.
Download, share, and hit us with a 5-star rating because New Orleans culture deserves to be heard loud and clear.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Got unpaid parking or camera tickets in New Orleans? Here's some good news. Through August 31st, you can take care of them without paying late fees. That's money back in your pocket. Just go to NOLA.gov/no late fees to see what you owe. You can pay all at once or sign up for a payment plan and break it into monthly payments at no extra cost. That's NOLA.gov/no late fees. NOLA.gov/no late fees. Don't miss out. This offer ends August 31st.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
This week marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. New Schools for New Orleans honors the strength of our city, our educators, and our students. Join us as we reflect, celebrate progress, and recommit to ensuring each child in New Orleans thrives.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Today is a special day. Make sure that you are tuned in and make sure you can call if you can. Our former superintendent, Eddie Compass, is in with us having some conversation. Mr. Elmore, what you say?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. Don't tell me you ain't talked to me in a while. Because you talked to me yesterday.
Oh,
I'm just saying he ain't getting senile on me now, is he? What's going on?
Boy, don't have me laugh on that one.
How you doing?
Oh, boy. I'm laughing to keep from crying, but I tell you, Chief Compass, appreciate you, brother. Because, to be honest with you, a lot of people didn't really know all what you did, but I think I had faith in you, man, because not only you was a hell of a police officer, professional fellow, but you had the people at heart in terms of the community. You really was for the community, and that's God has blessed you to have I would say that calling. Not everybody could be a police officer, but you had that calling for that.
Oh, thank you. What people didn't realize, I was one of two people that was in both community policing initiatives, in the urban squad in the 70s, and I was a commander of the community policing in the 90s, and we won the national award for having the largest reduction in crime in the United States from a community policing standpoint. Matter of fact, the Vice President of the United States, Al Gore, came and gave it to me personally. And when they got rid of apartheid in South Africa, they sent the South African Police Department to spend 3 days with me. And when I was walking around, dapping everybody up, and those ex-gang members coming hugging me, they said, "How you going to do that?" I said, "I love them. I love them so much that they feel it. And if you love your community's going to love you back."
Well, the thing, I'm going to tell you, Chief, I think you said a lot, and you brought back a lot of memories from me being a lot older than you, because I'm 74 years old, but I'm a Vietnam vet. And I'm very, very honest with you, very sincere with you that I love my community, I love my country, but I tell you, I was very proud of the role I played because I was serving my city. And not only that, I think what really helped me believe in having faith, believe in the Lord, being a Vietnam vet, being a 6 years, 8 months, 22 days U.S. Army vet, God has blessed me to withstand it. I didn't even crack when everything happened because I let my Vietnam experience kick in. And I can tell you, I never called myself a Viking, but at the time, I was as a Viking as anybody can be.
Well, thank you for your service. I'm not that much young. I'm 67 years old, so I'm not that much young. But it was my strength. Like I said, the men of God in this city. I was remiss. I missed one of my main men, Bishop Wiley. Bishop Wiley has been with me since I became chief, and he basically reached out to me the entire time after I got forced to resign. And, we would talk in depth. And, those type of people kept me going. And that's the reason why I made it through. Like, people say, well, man, how you kept your sanity going through all that? People didn't realize during Katrina, I fell off a truck and cracked my hip. I eventually had to get a double hip replacement behind that. Walking in that water, I cut my legs all up. I had so much infection in my legs, I almost had to get my leg amputated because all the infection I got in there. I had to get IVs immediately when the doctor saw that and drain all that infection. People have no idea the physical toll it took on me, not to mention the mental toll. My aunt and uncle died because I wouldn't go pick them up. Because I said, if I leave my post to go get my aunt and uncle, I'm giving every policeman on this department permission to leave. When you're a public servant, you have to serve the public at any cost. And I was under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that people had no idea. My ex-wife was pregnant with my son. I had a 3-year-old daughter that would call me every day crying, "Daddy, when you coming home? I miss you. I'm scared." You know what that does to a man when he hears his child beg for him to come and he can't do anything to help her? And then I got to get in police mode after my daughter and just broke my heart. And this was how I lived for weeks at a time during Katrina.
Well, Chief, I commend Gerod more than I want to tell you, and I hope he don't be embarrassed to commend him again. But it's a pleasure for him to have you on because we need to hear the true stories from the horse's mouth, and it's coming from you, brother. It couldn't be more of a pleasure. I like to listen to radio. I like to talk. Gerod knows it quite well by now, but it's a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you, sir. Like I said, everything I say can be verified. I can speak twice.
Yes, sir, and I appreciate you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Elmore.
Yes, sir.
All right, Kim.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good, man. What's going on?
Chief Compass. You're
Yes,
going to
sir.
know who I am when I start talking, but don't you say my last name, okay?
All right.
This is Kim, your little sister's former teacher at St. Peter.
Oh,
Clay.
yes, sir. I know you very well. I know you very well. Yes, sir.
I know you do. I know you do. I just wanted to let you know, man, a lot of people don't know what you went through, but I do personally. And I'm not surprised at the man you are because I know your family.
Yes, sir.
Your mother used to feed me. Your father was very nice to me, always treated me like a gentleman. Your sister, the entire family. I can vouch for this man. He's a good man. And the fruit didn't fall far from the tree because his people are fantastic. And I still see your little daughter every once in a while. I saw her on the plane when I went to Los Angeles. And I heard she just got married.
You know she told me that. She told me that she saw you that play. I couldn't have a better son-in-law. Candace married a young man that if you basically say, God, who I want to be my son-in-law, Aaron, that's the one. I tell you.
Right. Yeah.
Great young man.
He seemed like a very nice young man. But I want to let you know I appreciate everything you've done. I never told you that because you know how men are sometimes. But I know what you went through, and like I said, I know your family and I know your history, and you really were a servant of the people. You took your job seriously, and New Orleans misses men like you.
Thank you. You know, people wondering why I've been quiet for 20 years. You know, my daughter, Tiffany, my oldest daughter, she has 4 kids, and she said, Daddy, you don't let people talk about you, write things about you in books that's lies.
I'm surprised you ain't ready.
Well, I ain't ready for that yet. She said, your grandkids need to know the truth. You need to get the truth out there because, they got you vilified and they fighting kids in school for saying negative things or talking about you ran away and all that foolishness. I never ran for nothing in my life.
Yeah, I heard stories like that too. I defended you.
Yeah,
every time I heard a bad story, trust me.
I'm built for this. And people said, you cried, you showed weakness. Well, you know when I cried? When Paul Ricardo told me that his wife was killed, and I asked him why he didn't bring her with him, because I had my whole staff at the hotel.
Right.
And I chewed him out. And I was doing a press conference, and a police officer tapped me on my shoulder. I said, you see all these people here? I said, what you doing? He said, I got to tell you something. I said, it better be important. He said, Paul just committed suicide.
Wow.
And I cried because I felt so guilty that I hollered at this young man. I had to live with that. And then his wife wasn't dead. His neighbor gave him bad information.
Oh, no.
Then people were saying that I was embellishing, that they wasn't shooting at the police. And Kevin Thomas had a bullet in his head where he got shot.
Right.
I'm like, first of all, why would I embellish that? It's like there's a lot of people doing great things. A lot of people doing great things, but certain nefarious things were happening. As the chief of police, I had to report these things. And when people saying they're not shooting at your chief is lying. And Kevin Thomas is in a hospital with a bullet in his head. I'm like,
exactly.
How do I defend myself with that?
Exactly. And real men cry? What they talking about?
Yeah.
Real men cry?
Yeah. So, when Ricardo killed himself, to this day, I blame myself for that. And I got to live with that, man. And when my family called me to get my aunt and uncle, they said, you the chief of police, you can go. And even people on my staff said, Chief, go get your aunt and uncle. I said, I can't leave because I'm telling too many other people to stay. And when my aunt and uncle died, man, it's like people in my family was like looking at me, you didn't do anything. And I'm like, I got to live with that. But if I had to do it all over, I'd do it again because that's my job.
Right.
And when you make that type of personal sacrifice to do your job, and not just during Katrina, when all the corruption was going on with the police department, my name never was sullied. You know, I mean, doing community policing, we worked with Lynn Davidson and them had destroyed community trust, and we built it back. I mean, I won National Policeman of the Year. The Vice President of the United States honored me.
Yeah.
I went to the FBI Academy. I went to the John F. Kennedy School at Harvard. I was the honor grad from Loyola. I graduated with 395. None of that counted for anything. On the words of Sally Foreman, my life was destroyed. My word meant nothing.
Yep.
You don't think that hurt?
Of course it did.
And the mayor didn't even want to find the truth because it would have been easy. I said, just check who sent me.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to hear that.
But I know better because, like I say, I know you very well and your family. And I know better. I know the kind of man you are.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate what you did, brother.
All right.
When I see you again, I'm going to give you a big hug.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have a
All
blessed
right,
day,
my man.
All right.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that, man. Really do.
All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Kim. Yes, see. Miss Roberta. Miss Roberta? Did we miss her? There you go.
Yes. I just want to say to you, we all appreciate what you did, and I feel to believe you got to just move on and get over all of that, because it seemed like to me, and I'm not the one to judge, but from listening to you talking, you're still holding, you're still crying, and I just want to say this to you, Gerod. We all still crying about Katrina. We can't stop crying.
Oh, I ain't crying no more. So, trust me, the crying is gone. I shed no more tears.
A lot of us, I done saw a lot of people cry this week. I'm telling you, I've been to a lot of churches. I've been visiting churches last Sunday about Katrina, and there are people that are still crying.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
So I think we're going to be crying for a long time about Katrina because we're still dealing with it. We still got children here that families is still all over the United States, and these children don't have no parent here for them. That's why you're the policeman. You know why we got so much crime. But I want to say this too. Appreciate it, and I'm listening to and I listen all day, every day to WBOK.
Oh, thank you so much.
And so we all just got to get ourselves together and stick together and support each other. We got to learn how to come together. You know, we got to learn how to fight for our city and fight for our children. And so when we all come together, the churches, the elected officials, and everybody, that all that passes just come together and be one. And when we do this, we could get our city back. And
yes, ma'am.
But I want to hear. I really want to hear. I'm glad to hear your story, and I appreciate everything you have did in our community. And we got a whole lot of people, other people, to thank. Because I'm 89 years old, and I was out here. I done fought with every mayor. I done fought with Algiers community. I done fought to try to bring Algiers back to where we were years ago. And so we all got to get together and start fighting for the same thing. Our community going down the drain, you know, and we got to bring it back and bring our children and help our children. We got to help one another. Number one, the churches are getting together. The churches are working hard right now to try to bring the community back together. And I know they're doing it because I visit church to church and I listen. Like Bishop Wiley is on right now because I called him to listen to you all. And so, and I called a lot of people, Gerard, to listen. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, we want to hear about Katrina because, you know, I was here fighting too from everybody. And I think, Gerard, when are you going to call Ray Nagin?
That is going to be Friday.
Okay, because we want to hear what happened to our community and to what he did too. And because he was the mayor of the city of New Orleans. And we sure he went through a whole lot too. And a lot of the councilmen, like he said, James Carter, very good person. And I'm sure James could talk about it too. Mm-hmm. Love him to death. Okay?
Yep.
And so I really feel to believe we need to hear about everybody, but everybody that listen, let's fight hard. trying to get our city back and bring it back together as one. As one. That's where I'm at right now. If we all come together, we really could say something. Okay? Love you. Keep doing what you're doing, Chief.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Burgess, thank you much.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin.
Hey, man, thank both of y'all, man, for sharing this information. Information is important. We can have the best deal in town, and if no one knows about it, it's nothing. So information is important. Look, that the previous caller stole my thunder, really. Look, we have to start looking at our decisions and start saying, well, we need to regroup the kind of people we hang around. This is what I found. Look, you find out people are less than good people to be associated with long before, if you hang around them, right? Long before you find out personally. I don't hang with a lot of people. Not that I don't love them. I love them. But I realize they have a different philosophical bent in life. Okay? So, and I can't speak to Chief Compass every time I've ever run into him. He's always been gracious, very class guy. And you look good, man. The guy look 20 years old. Okay?
Thank you.
You do look like that. I was like, when you said 60 what?
I'm 67. 67.
Yeah. So, and I've told him that on occasion. I'm not even mentioning where we know each other, but we've worked some of the same places.
Okay. Your voice sounds very familiar.
Right. Everybody tell. I'm going down the street talking to people, and they think I'm somebody else. So it sounds familiar to a whole lot of people, and I'm not even those people that think I am. So the thing is this: that, like I said, and I call every time I call. This is my fundamental, and I use that word fundamental intentionally. Approach to life. If we don't start sharing information that's important with each one of us, and picking people that are interested in sharing information, and then structuring processes that we can start using that information to solve particular problems, even if it relates to those particular problems that someone bring up. But if we don't know about it, we can't really do anything. And that's what's happening with the black community. We're not intentional. Like everybody else get together at the club and the golf club and all that stuff. They intentionally build systems and networks to actually apply something so they can benefit from it. We just don't do that. And until we start doing that, people who got better thought process than us and understand we have to start accepting the fact that the only thing we have is us, good, bad, and ugly. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people you can't work with because they're just not in season, and I respect that. But there are some people who are in season. We got to do our level best to find those people, not just find them, but to have church with them. And after have church with them, in other words, then go to work and start working on whatever it is that like I tell people, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You already know what your priorities are. Find people that like you and work on those priorities. And guess what? Then you have the right kind of people around you that's not going to just let you flounder when the fire happens. Right. So we have to start looking at this. We have to start looking at ourselves and say, well, what kind of people? I don't even hang with some of my hoity-toity friends.
All right, Kevin, we got to run out of here because we got a spot break we got to do. But I appreciate the call, brother.
Thank you.
All right, more coming up with Chief Compass in just a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
New Orleans never sleeps, and neither does WBOK. Now, every voice, every moment, and every show is in your pocket. Search WBOK Media wherever you get podcasts. Download, share, rate us 5 stars. Because when you support us, You amplify Black voices and the New Orleans culture.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month by the community scientists at Rise St. James. This month, we spotlight phthalates, chemicals added to plastics, especially PVC, to make them more flexible and durable. But there's more. Research shows phthalates may disrupt hormones, affect reproductive health, and contribute to environmental pollution impacting our communities. Join us as we explore how these additives shape our everyday lives and the world around us. For more details, visit risestjames.org. Empower your knowledge with Rise.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
20 years ago, Hurricane Katrina tested New Orleans like never before. We lost homes, history, and loved ones, but never our spirit. From the floodwaters, we rebuilt, reshaped, and revived a culture that no storm could wash away. On Saturday, August 30th, the city of New Orleans will host the Hurricane Katrina 20th Anniversary Commemorative Summit, a powerful day of stories, strategy, and hope, charting the next 20 years for our city. To learn more, visit katrina20.nola.gov/K20-summit. Still standing, still New Orleans.
Uptown, downtown, wherever you are, keep it locked in to WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Conversation happening with Chief Compass in just a bit. He'll be right back in just a few minutes here, but everybody can talk to him. Number 504-582-9422. What you say, Ron O?
Thank you for taking my call. Chief, got to bring this back. His wife was in the shopping center, and the guy snatched her purse. Little Eddie had just learned karate. He was trying, but he was overpowered by a grown man. Me and Brother Mims got the guy, but Eddie was fighting himself. He couldn't do it. He was a little boy about 7, 8 years old. So when the chief got out there, they came to security. They got him, took the guy away. So about 3 weeks later, somebody dropped some wood on Earhart. My children, my wife, and the car got 4 flat tires. Guess who come up? Chief Eddie Cobbs. I got a picture. They took a picture. He holding my son, which is 27, and my daughter was 8. She's 28. They had 4 flat tires. And who came to the rescue for my end? I just want to tell you, Chief, we're praying for all of you guys. Did some great things. It's unfortunate we had some times with Katrina, but, you know, we all keep it in prayer. And I just hope, Gerod, I listened to my boy Sunday night on FM. And this is a special weekend for Katrina. I hope we could get him on FM again this weekend and keep it there. The music is so beautiful, and the music he was playing was relieving. Because, right, I'm going to be honest with you, we all are stressing right now with Katrina. If you were seeing sort of things that happened, because I watched some things like this guy, Michael Harris, can't think his name, couldn't swim. Jumped in the water in the St. Bernard Project, put the baby on the boat. Later on, he realized he couldn't swim, and he went in shock. They dropped diesel fuel on us by accident at Walmart, and everybody thought they was dying. I see people bust their toes. And the memories of Katrina, living in Walmart, all that stuff, that went on, and it's kind of personal for me and a whole bunch of folks, and I'm going through it. But we had some great leaders, and they continue on. And, Chief, we're praying for you, always there, and we're going to keep it up. And you keep up the good work, because we know wherever you go, you're going to do the thing. But like I said, your son had just learned karate. When you got to the shopping center, me and Al Mims held the guy down until security came and took him away. But little Eddie was fighting for his mom. Oh, he was fighting, but he just was too small. He couldn't do nothing. But he had his collars in place, though. We had to laugh ourselves. He went through the first and second collar, and he was hitting the guy. And he slowed him up, and Brother Mims did that 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, we held him down. And when you got to, you say, oh, man.
I used to train with Al Mims a long time ago. Matter of fact, he was one of the first professional kickboxers in the area.
Yep,
that's right.
I did Cobra Shikai with Eric O'Neill, and he didn't do our karate style, but he was in the martial arts. But I don't know what style he did. But then he turned to kickboxing.
Yeah, when you got there with the guy, we had the guy down.
I remember.
Eddie, he was the hero. Then 3 weeks later, there go my kids and wife stranded on Earhart, 4 flat tires, and who pops up? Chief Compass.
Yeah.
The call to it in, they got saved. I'm gonna see that picture. You took a picture with him, and they were so excited. So I said, well, we got heroes all over the place, and life is good and life is short. Appreciate you again. And Gerard and listeners, on Sunday night, you'll hear some good music. Listen at the FM or WBOK. I promise you, It's something. Look, I used to have to run it through the computer. Now I just put it on, and Gerard talking about some beautiful music, good selection. Thank you again, WBOK and his listeners, Gerard and Chief. Keep it up, man. We here.
Thank you, my brother.
Appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right. Chief, let me ask you this, too. And I don't want to bring up a whole bunch of stuff during Katrina, but if you had to think just for a minute of all the things that you saw during that time, what was the one that stuck with you?
It was two. I was at the convention center, and this guy, the buses was coming because we moved from the dome to the convention center. We had to evacuate the convention center.
Mm-hmm.
Lonnie Swain helped put that plan together. He was at the Superdome, and he never got the credit he deserved. He was one of my deputy chiefs. He did an outstanding job. And this kid, he was about 20 years old. He said, "Chief, I'm getting on the bus. You're going to have to handle this with my grandmother." And I said, "Where's your grandmother?" He said, "She's over in the corner." And she was in a wheelchair, and she had died. And I didn't know what to do. There was no EMS. There was no coroner's office.
She's just there.
She was dead. She had died of dehydration or whatever. She had just.
And she's in a wheelchair.
She's in a wheelchair. And he just ran to get on the bus. I guess he was so excited. I guess there was nothing he could do for his grandmother. And I'm assuming that's his grandmother.
Yeah.
He didn't say that's my grandmother.
Right.
He said, "I got to get on the bus." He might have said, that was so long ago. But I remember he pointed that she's in the corner. And I went over there, and when I said, "Oh, my God, she's dead." And so I didn't know what to do. So I took a blanket and I put it over her. And some people in the media said that was callous, what I did.
What?
Yeah. And I'm like.
Why was it callous?
Because I just put the blanket on her head.
That's
then
respect.
But I went back and I was trying to help the people who were like the little triage station that was trying to get medical attention to. But it was a situation where I felt so helpless. I couldn't. There was no coroner. There was no funeral homes working.
Right.
But this lady, I tried to give as much dignity as I could. And the next thing was involving an older person. When I went to the dome, they had a lady, and she was laying on the ground, and she was full of feces and urine. And I picked her up, and I moved her to an area close to where the police was at. And I got with Lonnie Swain, and I said, "Man, we got to take somewhere for these old people." And I, got with the EMTs that was out there, and we, helped clean the lady up. And I remember years after Katrina, a lady saw me, and she said, "Chief, I need to apologize to you." I said, "For what?" She said, "That old lady was on that ground for a long time, and I was one of the people that was walking over that lady, and nobody tried to help her clean up because she wasn't smelling good." She said, "I feel so bad that I didn't." And I guess I got to the point that when that dome, when the bathrooms was overrun with feces and urine, I think I lost my sense of smell. I didn't smell anything. I saw that old lady on the ground,
that's all you
full
could
of
see.
urine, and I picked her up, and it was like, I just felt so bad for her. And there had so many old people there that their families just left them, not being cruel, because they thought there would be.
Right, they thought they'd be back in 3 days.
But they thought there would be facilities in the dome to take care of the older people. Because you got to understand, a lot of these old people were on medication and they couldn't control their bowels, so they wasn't ready for that long drive to Houston or Atlanta. So they thought they were being humane, bringing them somewhere where they could get help. So I don't blame them for leaving them there, because everybody got a different reasoning for things. Everybody has different medical conditions. So it wasn't they were doing anything nefarious, but it was just a situation that evolved where we had so many old people at the dome that were by themselves. So I think the thing that resonates with me is those two things. And I think the hardest thing, which I talked about earlier, when Paulo Carter killed himself and I lost my aunt and uncle.
I'm looking at your face.
Yeah.
You have never let that go.
Oh, man, it's like
you have never let that go.
You want moments in life back.
Yeah.
And I can't get that moment back.
And it goes back to saying, if I would known what I know now,
right.
It would have been maybe a different outcome.
Yeah, because the thing was.
But I need you to understand from your other brother, me.
I feel you.
That ain't your fault.
I know, but I ordered my staff to bring their families, and when he didn't do it, I was so angry.
Chief. Chief.
Yeah.
That ain't your fault.
I know.
I need to say it again. That ain't your fault.
I feel you. I feel you.
And look, ain't nothing wrong with thinking about it, and because I will tell you, anytime you have something that traumatic, you're more than likely at some point relive it.
Right.
And we talking about 20 years later.
Right.
You said something earlier that I'm gonna ask you about. You never went to go see nobody.
Nah, the people I saw, they didn't care about Eddie Campos. They weren't about the chief. I didn't want to talk to them people.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, I looked at it. When people real and when they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the men of God in this city fixed me. There wasn't no psychiatrist.
Well, if you're around anywhere near Fred Luter, Bishop Wiley, and let me see, Bristol, from
Tom Watts.
I thought of Tom Watson.
Yesterday. these people are like my idols.
Mm-hmm.
Father Mike from Peter Claver. Those people embraced me, and they loved me unconditionally. And when I wasn't the chief no more, they loved Eddie Campos.
But did you ever think that it would be those men to get you through the hardest times of your life?
No, I didn't think so. But I had some real good friends. Like I said, Troy Henry was there for me.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Samuel was there for me. Big Soon. Oliver Thomas was there for me.
And you know what I like about y'all? Y'all ain't afraid to give each other a bunch of kudos.
Oh yeah,
and let everybody know.
I love Congressman Carter. Oh my God, he was like a brother to me. He was there like in spades. He wasn't even in office at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many people pouring out to me that I found who really loved me. Then there had people who had been knowing my whole life was afraid to be around me because I was toxic.
I was one of those guys that I ain't care.
Well, I know you did. Matter of fact, you were one of few people in the media at the time was saying,
y'all leave Chief alone.
You was like, Eddie Campos ain't never ran from nothing in his life. And the thing was, you made a salient point. You said if he was going to leave, he'd have left when all the stuff was going on. The Saints game was a month after Katrina. People was going on vacation and everything. I was one of the last people in the police department to actually, that was the first time I left. I went to Baton Rouge once to meet with Henry Whitehorn, and my ex-wife was in Denham Springs, and she was 8 months pregnant. So I've stopped for
and that's what I was going to say. Your wife was 8 months
with a
pregnant
3-year-old
at that time.
Because
you hadn't seen your family.
I hadn't seen my family. And so I said, well, since I'm going right through that, and I stayed, and I spent the night there, and I came right back.
But why did you get all that judgment? Why were those folks all over the television?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going like, y'all out your mind.
I couldn't defend myself publicly, and it was like I just got caught in a position where I couldn't win.
Yeah.
Like I had, I was the face of Katrina, whether I wanted to or not.
Right.
So the press was all over me. And so if say ABC would ask me something at 9:00, NBC asked me the same question at 10:00.
And I gotta talk to you about Oprah.
Okay.
Well, let's do that in a minute.
Okay.
Let's do the news real quick, and we'll come back. And you got all the lines lit up.
All right.
And Katie Weiss is coming, y'all. Katie Weiss is coming.
All right.
More coming up, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. Black House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is hinting at the possibility of mobilizing redistricting efforts in more blue states. In an interview with CNN's State of the Union, Jeffries says Democrats will be ready if more Republican-led states aim to redraw maps in their favor.
We will continue to respond when necessary across the country. Right now, this has happened in Texas. California has responded. Let's see what comes next.
The Texas Senate approved a new congressional map that will likely give the GOP 5 more seats in the House. Friday marks the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Katrina remains one of the most devastating natural disasters in U.S. history. And the president and CEO of Essence Festival has officially resigned from her position. She joined Essence Ventures in June of 2020. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Our guest today, Chief Eddie Compass, longtime friend who has, I think, a stellar law enforcement career as well. And during the time that Katrina hit, you were there, boots on the ground. You were there trying to get people out that water. Do you remember getting in that water?
Oh yeah, many times. I got the soles on my legs to show it.
It was a lot of fun. I'll never forget. I was talking to who was that? Lawrence Weathersby, and he was like, "Man, you probably won't be able to drive down these streets a little later on." I was like, "Man, what you talking about?" And he predicted it. He told me. He said, "Man, what you think? We on the boat right now." I said, I never seen nothing like this in all my life.
Let me tell you what I vividly remember. I was in that water for a couple of days, back and forth. And I was stopped at the Walmart right there off of Chopper Tours.
Right.
And I saw Oliver Thomas. I had been seeing him in the water back and forth, going to different places. And he looked like he was dead. He was so tired. And I looked like we were both filthy. We both was wet. We both stank. And we went to each other, and we went to talk, and we went to say what's up. And we both were so tired, all we did was raise our hands and gave like a wave.
Okay, what's up?
What's up? Like, what up? And that was it. Then, we kind of gathered ourselves, and then we talked for a minute. But at that moment, we were both so tired because we had been so exhausted being in that water for so long. We just raised our hand and were like, what's up?
Did you ever get some sleep during that time?
No, that's another thing, too. If I had to do it, I got some sleep. For the first 48 hours, I didn't sleep at all. I was sleep deprived. That's a good point. Very seldom do I talk about that. I mean, I had lost so much energy.
Right.
Because I figured I was in such a good physical condition that I could take it. You want to be a man and you want to be in the water. You want to, be there for your people.
Right.
You want to see. But I should have slept a little bit more.
And then they bring the boat to the dock for you all.
Right.
Most of those guys that were out there in that water that were rescuing people had lost their homes.
Right.
And if they had, to go anywhere to sleep, it was somewhere that they had no business.
Right.
Because they had not set up anything until later.
Right.
And they bring the boat. They bring the big cruise ship.
Cruise ship. Yeah, that's much later.
Really?
Cruise ship. Yeah, that was weeks later. Yeah, we were sleeping in our cars, sleeping on the ground.
How many vehicles you lost?
I have no idea. I didn't think about it. But I tell you what, my commands were really smart. A bunch of them anticipated the flood, and they put the vehicles on high ground, parking lots and stuff. So they were very smart. My commanders were very, very smart. Very, very smart.
Let me ask this. This was a rumor, and I never asked you this. Was it true at the time that the police officers were going to get vehicles from, like, the dealerships?
One of the things that happened, the Cadillac dealership, supposedly, I don't know firsthand.
Right.
They knew the commander. I forgot who the commander was. And he gave the commander the keys to the cars and told them, y'all need vehicles, use these cars. So, because my thing was,
because y'all lost a lot of cars.
Yeah, exactly. So, but how, if the police officer were taking the cars without permission, how did they get the keys? How did they know what key went to what car? So somebody had to give it to them. So, that was a rumor that they was still, I wasn't the chief when the investigation took place. I had been forced to resign, when that all took place. But, that thing with the Cadillac, man, that thing just took a life of its own, But I mean, I don't know how it got to the point where they're saying police was stealing Cadillacs, but, it's just one of those things. I can't really, quantify it because it was just so long ago, and that was just such a small portion of all the stuff.
But they were trying to make a big deal out of it.
They were trying to make a big deal out of it, and it was like so crazy. It's like, and when people asked me about it, I said, well, somebody must have given the keys. No, they stole the keys. Well, if you ever been in a car dealership, them keys is like all bunched up.
Right.
And like you don't know what go with what unless somebody tell you. So somebody within the dealership had to give them to them. Now, I don't know what was the circumstance, because like I said, I heard it just like you. And people don't understand, people thought I knew everything. We had no communication.
Right.
So a lot of things
no
were going
radio.
on. No, the radio system was dead. We was all working on one station.
Wow.
And the phone systems were down. It was hitting and missing.
Right.
With the phone systems. It was so crazy. Like the phone that I had was kind of a good phone. So people could call me.
Well, that's when everybody had started texting.
Yeah, and that's why my daughter was calling me every day. I was trying to correct that phone didn't work because, man, when my little 3-year-old would call me up, it would just break my heart.
Yeah. Daddy, when you coming home?
And it's like in that little voice. And she's 22 years old now, graduating from Tulane, trying to get in law school and, do big things. So, but that's my baby still.
You got the Benjamin Buttons disease, bro. That's what you Let's take some of these calls, too. Renetta?
Yes, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. I worked for the state during Katrina, and I was in the dome. And it was difficult. It was challenging. We had a place to stay that was commandeered by the military, so they put us on the floor. We slept on the floor. We were taking care of older people they were brought to the nursing homes and just left. And everybody who went through Katrina, there is an experience. But what I can say is that the people that assisted us were the military, were the police, and I think on the last day when I got food, because I was giving out the food, someone told me, don't give guys food. And I looked at him and it says, guys got to eat too. So I'm giving the food to anybody.
Don't give guys food?
MREs. We're getting food from the military to give out in the dome.
Why was that to not give the guys the food?
I don't know what his point of reference was, or reason.
Okay.
I didn't care. The thing was to be charitable and to be everybody got to eat. And if the food took 5 days to get there, I think everybody's a little hungry.
I think what happened, though, I was in the dome. They were prioritizing giving the older people the food and the younger kids, and then they were feeding the adults and the teenagers after. So it wasn't a question. They didn't want you to give the guys food. They wanted the elderly people.
It was one of my coworkers. I heard what he said.
No, but I'm saying, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just giving you an example of what happened, what I saw, that they were trying to prioritize the elderly. Because you're right, the food didn't come for a minute. And when they got there, everybody was reaching out for the food, and the elderly people couldn't stand in line and stuff. So a lot of times.
We had a lot of them with us because that was our job, was to take care of them.
Oh, I know. But I'm saying when some of the military people got the food, they were instructed to give it to the elderly people, I think, first. That's what
that they did that. But all I can say is that, I think everybody did the best we could under the circumstances.
Yes, ma'am.
But the media was horrible, and the misrepresentations and the lies that went out it was horrific. And I had not seen my family. They didn't know where I was for a week. So I was working. And so I was glad to see them because finally I got a chance to get to them after a week. But all I can say, everybody did the best they could with what we had. And the misrepresentations and the lies that went out, we all worked. And all I can say is that, you guys deserve a round of applause. I did get an award from the governor for going above and beyond.
Well, thank you for your service, ma'am.
But it didn't matter because I would have done it anyway.
Yes, indeed. That shows you where your heart is.
You would do what you had to do and cry over it.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that impressed me was the Hulu documentary on Katrina. It was the most truthful documentary I've seen.
I've heard several people talk about other documentaries that's being shown that are full of lies.
Yeah, a bunch of them are.
But Hulu is truthful. Yeah. They did not use a lot of slanted media representation and slanted truth. They told it the way it was.
All right. Okay.
And so that was a great thing. But you guys did great. And I was there. I went to the Hyatt, because they were moving us all over the place. So it was not that many places that I did not see. And it left me with nightmares. I've had nightmares a long time after that.
Did you see anybody?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because you took a big, deep breath.
Well, you didn't want to experience it. You didn't want to remember it.
Yeah, I'll tell anybody though that went through what the folks here went through that they needed to see somebody. So
Oh, well, we saw somebody afterwards. We were mandated to see someone for 10 hours.
did you see anything that really just shocked you during Katrina?
Yes. Yes.
Can you
That
tell us?
many people was allocated to the dome without the resources they needed to have for them.
Mm-hmm.
And to prepare them for because we didn't know what we were going to go through.
Right.
You know, I don't know why it missed me about the storm. I had no idea it was that bad. I was there when the roof came up and the water came down. And we were looking like, oh, my God, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But it was 40-some people that were there, and I think one of our coworkers, they died. It was not a great experience, but it was an experience.
Yeah. Well,
and I could say anybody who, whether it was state or federal, whatever, and I was glad to see General Honore come in. We needed him.
Yeah.
Because
well, thank
they
you
were
very
going,
much.
They had went too far.
I appreciate you for sharing with us too. Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, James. James.
Hey.
What's happening?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What you got?
Yeah, what's happening, man? Chief.
Yes, sir.
I want to commend you. My youngest son and your son, who was you said 8 months in, they're the same age. Same
yes, sir.
thing in our boat, but we got away.
Yes, sir.
I want to say this. They're good friends. They swam and they worked together.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, they swam and they worked together. Your daughter, I met your ex-wife. We were trying to matchmake her and my son. My son is in Loyola now, so hopefully she get that two-lane thing and they can link up down the road, and then they'll argue in the house together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we definitely trying to get in law school. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're right. It's gonna happen. I want to give you your props because I watched that thing, like the lady said, on Hulu, and I called a couple of days ago, and I've been trying to get to you to let you know, brother, that you did your absolute best with what you absolutely had. You know, the playbook was long on words, but it was short on action because nobody ever got a chance to practice that whole deployment of what theoretically should have worked in that situation. You know, so like Gerod said, bro, don't beat yourself up because you didn't. I watched it. You didn't take your hat off at all. In fact, you walked so damn much. Your men had to take your boots off you because your feet ass swollen up.
Well, let me tell you what happened with that. That's right after I fell off that truck and I hurt my hip, and I was walking, and it thought my feet was swelling up from the sores of my legs swelled up. When it was pulling my boots off, and that's when the doctor saw.
In your hip, huh?
Yeah, but that's when the doctor saw how my legs was, and they gave me an IV. But my hip was hurting so bad after Katrina, I had to get a double hip replacement because I cracked my hip, and I didn't get it fixed in time, and it grew back wrong, and I wound up having to get a
double hip.
I got a double hip. I can show you X-rays if you think I'm lying. 'Cause I know I got to prove everything.
No, bro,
I got to prove everything. My word, I know my word don't count too much. So I got to prove it. That's why I got pictures.
Huh? That's a bilateral hip replacement. Check it out. I just wanted to say I was not a part of any department before Katrina. Was trying to get on the fire department before Katrina. A lot of people listen to the show, gonna know my voice. I got on. I was fortunate enough to get accepted and called back after, and some leadership like you, bro, would have been warranted and is warranted. Some of them dudes I saw on the video also, I'm ashamed of, and there should be a call to action to them. I didn't know who they were, but they showed themselves in that video, and it was really ugly. So I'm gonna say this: that video exposed a lot, the good, the bad, the ugly. The media never came through in an act of contrition and gave the citizens their just observation after the fact. A lot of misrepresentation went on with our city after the fact, and people, you can tell by some folks that was outside looking, and they still kind of carry that misrepresentation with us. Our folks was hungry, and they wasn't stealing just to steal. It wasn't, shit. I mean, things got chaotic. Should not have gotten that way, but they did because, y'all got direct orders from some jackadilly that didn't know nothing about nothing and wasn't trying to. So, I just want to say, brother, I'm proud of you. Although I don't know you I feel like as a man, I know you. And I'm proud to say that you was our chief.
I feel you on that.
During
Thank you,
that
my
ordeal.
brother. Thank you, man.
All right, James.
Much respect, James.
Yeah, you're right, bro.
Thank you, brother. All right.
Later.
T-Bone.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how y'all doing? Chief, I've worked with you before at the different college campuses, and I always thought you was a stand-up dude. And I just want to say this from the bottom of my heart, speaking as somebody that wasn't physically here in New Orleans, but had to rescue his own family and was trying to figure out how to rescue more family because I saw one of my peoples on CNN.
Wow.
I had a cousin who I think she was working the casino at the time. She had a little girl, and she had got separated from her daughter and her mom. And see, this is why I say people were judgmental, but they had never been in New Orleans. They had never been through nothing like that. But you can't judge people in what they would do because if you've not been through it, you can't say what you would do. And neither one of them had a car. And so what happened was her mom and her daughter got evacuated on them buses and shipped out. And she didn't know where they went. And she was separated from them. And I already had 13 people in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Wow.
My wife was pregnant with my one daughter. And I wanted to go get my cousin. And then I saw pictures of old people that were dying right there by the convention center in wheelchairs. I saw the babies in the drooping diapers because they couldn't be changed. And I broke down in front of my whole family. I mean, I'm the patriarch. It's my apartment with all these people. And I broke down. My wife yanked me in the room. She's like, look, you asking too much of me, and I'm about to have this baby. But you can't be breaking down in front of them. You got to pull yourself together because you're the only strength they got right now. So let me tell you something, brother. I feel you. You did everything that you could possibly do above and beyond the duty of your badge. Do not feel bad. None of what went wrong, went bad, was your fault.
Appreciate
you hear
that,
me?
my brother. I appreciate
You hear me? I did everything I could do and was trying to do more. But I'm a man that was raised by a stronger man and was old school and did not believe in crying in front of nobody, but I did break down. But we did what we had to do.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was challenging. There was no playbook. There was nothing of that magnitude that ever happened in the history of the United States. I've gone all over the world. Well, not the world, but I've gone to Canada, but all over the United States, talking about the challenges. And when you tell people 80% of your city is underwater, they're like, they can't fathom that. I couldn't understand the magnitude of it until I got up in that helicopter and looked at the city literally totally inundated in water. And I'm like, oh my God, this is...
And when people started seeing and realizing just how bad it was, that's when the shut up juice had to show up because they couldn't really judge at that point. Nobody had been through that. Nobody. And y'all did what y'all could do. Those of y'all that stood here, y'all did what y'all could do, man. Don't never let nobody tell you otherwise because the only person could judge at this point, the only being, let me say it that way, the only being that's going to judge you at the end of the days is God, and you did what you could do in the eyes of him.
Yes, sir.
Me, myself, look, I applauded all of y'all for what y'all did by staying in the city. Like I said, I did what I could do because I was already relocated in Texas, and I just wish the city would have came back better than it did these 20 years later. But by the grace of God, I got to see my daughter being born. That's who my wife was carrying. She's about to be 20, and she's at Delgado right now, and I'm so proud. Proud of her and proud of my family that them flourished since then.
All right, T-Bone.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you, my brother.
Bless you.
Thank you, man.
All right, y'all.
All right. More coming up, y'all. We'll talk more with the chief in just a minute. I'm telling y'all, Katie is like right around the corner. So she coming up too. More coming up. Claude, hold on.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Melody Hobson is one of the most successful black women in business today, and now she's got her eye on women's sports, spearheading a new fund called Project Level Up.
I started to study women's sports like an 11-year-old studies baseball statistics, and I got dangerous in seeing up arrows on what was happening in attendance, in sponsorships, in media rights.
That's Hobson talking about when she first started seeing big opportunities in women's sports, and seeing women athletes draw more global interest was another turning point recently.
Think about the Olympics and the big names, lots of amazing athletes, but some of the women were the biggest names. And I just said, we're going to drill down on this, and ultimately saw a real opportunity. And I said, go big or go home.
Going big led to Project Level Up, and its next big plan is a new women's soccer team for Denver. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Ins 9/13. Select models only.
Hey y'all, it's Chef Bunny, and I'm the host of the new show, The Roo, where we will be discussing all things food and NOLA. You can catch me live on air beginning February 1st at 12:30 p.m., so check out what we'll be cooking up on WBOK 1230 a.m.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Every Friday at noon on WBOK.
Got unpaid parking or camera tickets in New Orleans? Here's some good news. Through August 31st, you can take care of them without paying late fees. That's money back in your pocket. Just go to NOLA.gov/no late fees to see what you owe. You can pay all at once or sign up for a payment plan and break it into monthly payments at no extra cost. That's NOLA.gov/no late fees. NOLA.gov/no late fees. Don't miss out. This offer ends August 31st.
On last week's From the Press Box to Press Row with Donald Ware.
Chris Mosley had 24 carries for 262 yards. He was the backup running back, if you will. He got the least amount of carries. But when he was able to carry the football, he maximized those carries. I mean, you're talking about a guy that rushed for in excess of 10 yards per carry. But I think where North Carolina Central is going to excel, and a lot of people aren't talking about this, is on the offensive line. So I like North Carolina Central over Southern in this football game.
From the press box to press row is one of the hottest sports talk shows in the country. Join Donald each week as he takes you on a journey through the world of HBCU sports and pro sports and interviews with top sports and entertainment figures. That's from the press box to press row each week on your favorite station.
Box to Row, Saturdays at 2 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com. What New Orleans is talking about.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is a great day because our guest, of course, the one, the only, Eddie Compass is in the building, former superintendent for NOPD. And she's here.
Hello.
Katie Weiss, CBS correspondent extraordinaire.
Thank you very much.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be your last time here either, so you're going to have to start doing the show. Katie's like,
I don't want to take anybody else's job. I got plenty on my plate as it is.
Are you hearing a lot of Katrina stories now?
I am. You know, I've been actually covering a lot of stories from outside of New Orleans, even though I live here now. You know, I grew up on the Alabama Gulf Coast in Mobile, and I grew up on a little bayou down off of Mobile Bay, and our home was flooded during Katrina, and I'll never forget watching my toilet turn into a fountain.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was pretty
you
wild.
Didn't drink from the fountain.
No, not that one.
not that one.
It was pretty wild, but so I over the last couple of weeks been talking with people in Biloxi on Dauphin Island, Alabama, about the experiences that they have and the experiences that they're continuing to have to rebuild.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to, and I know I came up with that idea, and it was like, can you come just do the show? Because what I wanted you to hear was some of the experiences and some of the, and I hate to say it this way, but it's the truth, the trauma that a lot of people went through. That trauma was sickening to hear. People still dealing with it. Yeah. And I was asking Chief just a minute ago, you know, if you had to think about I said one of the things that you had to deal with, and you immediately said two.
Then it was really three when I talked about Ricardo. So that was because it was different things in different magnitude. Mm-hmm. Like the old lady dying and in the wheelchair, and it's like, what do you do with a dead body? And you don't want to be morbid, but there's old people who's living who you have to service. Right. And so I didn't know what to do, so I put a blanket over her head and rolled her in the corner. And some people looked at that as being morbid. Mm-hmm. They didn't realize the responsibilities that I had. I had to save the living. And then when I went to the dome, when those old lady was in feces and urine, she had been laying on the ground. She had to be clean. She had to give her dignity back. And there had a whole lot of people in that position. And then when my public information officer, Paul Ricardo, killed himself after I just chewed him out, it was personal guilt. Like the other two, I felt
you didn't feel
sorry.
Close.
I felt sorry for their
right.
situation, but I know I did nothing to cause that situation. But Paul Ricardo, well, I know I didn't cause it, but
I need to lay you on the couch.
No, I'm good.
Because you're not gonna forget that.
How do you forget something like that?
At some point in time, I don't want you to forget it. I want you to stop blaming yourself.
Well, like I said, I pray on that every day.
I know.
Every day, I live with that.
I know. We'll get back to it. Let me talk to Claude.
Hi. Good evening, Mr. Stevens. How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
I'm good. Good evening, Chief Compass.
How you doing, sir?
All right, this is the bouncer, Chief.
I'm sorry. What
but anyhow.
Say it again,
Claude, we didn't hear you. You broke up, Claude. What did you say?
Go back to our days as teenagers.
Oh, okay.
Claude, man. This is Claude, Chief.
Oh, Claude. All right, my brother. I got that voice. I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah. I had that experience during Katrina too. I stayed back with my nephew, and I was caring for the senior citizens in the building my mother used to live in. Used to be St. Anne Church.
Okay.
Cooking food for them because We were down the street. We still had gas. Put it in an igloo, ice cooler with a rope on it, and floating it down the street so that they could eat and stuff until we got rescued.
Wow.
But, and I know Chief Compass know the neighborhood I'm talking about around St. Peter Clay, where we grew up around.
Yeah.
And I just want you to know, Chief, that, we're thankful for the leadership that you provided. As you stated earlier, no one has ever had to go through this in the history of this country, and especially in the city of New Orleans. You're the only chief had to deal with such a catastrophic disaster. And, you provided leadership. And, many of us who grew up with you knew the guy you were. So we're not surprised at the leadership you provided and know that we support you. And we thank you. We thank you for your service to the city of New Orleans and its citizens. That's all I have to say, Chief.
Thank
Stay
you, my
strong,
brother. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you for the call, Claude. Appreciate you.
Good brother there, man. Real good brother.
Katie, let's find out something too, because you have a big assignment. I mean, this is the week here that everybody wants to see, remember, talk about some of the celebrations. I won't say celebrations, but commemorations or whatever it is. How many of those folks have those personal stories to tell you? Because we've been hearing them all day.
All day. All day.
All day.
All day.
Oh, I mean, there's millions of people all over the Gulf Coast who have those stories.
Yeah, but they're a little bit different here.
Yeah.
With you being here, were you here during Katrina? You were here during that?
I wasn't in New Orleans. I was in Mobile.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Mobile, how much damage did Mobile get? Did it get a lot?
It varied. It varied depending on how close to the water you were. For example, my Nana's home was completely wiped out. On Dauphin Island, there were 300 homes totally wiped out. The land where they stood still gone to this day. So a lot of barrier island communities, like they're not as big as they once were. And of course, I think people in other cities had the luxury of being able to evacuate.
Right.
And here we know that Katrina the storm itself was just one problem. There was a big puzzle piece of issues. And so I'm so grateful that you've given me the opportunity to come and hear people's real stories about the aftermath of this, of not being able to evacuate appropriately.
We actually have people that are online right now that are saying they're going through the same thing in North Carolina after that big flood.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So they're talking about it right now, so they understand what's going on. But one of the things too that I thought was really interesting with this whole concept of Katrina and what happened, and everybody's trying to figure it out. One of the things that really hadn't been talked about in depth was the fact that people went to the Superdome for shelter, or they stayed in their house for shelter, not because they didn't want to just leave their home. They couldn't because they were broke. They had no money. We're a impoverished city.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that has been covered to its entirety of the number of people that said, hey, I want to leave, but we don't have money for a hotel room. We don't have money for gas. We don't have that money. And I got 5 to 6 people living in the house, and I can't provide. So, here we go. Let's go to the Superdome.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's stay in our house. And that was probably one of the worst things you could have done, stayed in your house.
We tried to evacuate people, but you can't physically force them to leave their homes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they got caught and trapped, then we had to go get them. But a lot of the city was so inundated with water that they drowned in their homes. And when you listen to some of those dispatches, they call in the 911 caller asking for help, giving addresses while they're drowning.
Mm.
I remember Byron Pitts from CBS News at the time. He did a tremendous job showing the plight of the 911 operators, the trauma they went through, just hearing people die over the phone. I mean, the people were actually drowning while they were on the phone trying to get help. I mean, it was incredible trying to, then people were giving us addresses, but you got to understand, the street signs were underwater.
Right.
So what I did, I went into a helicopter with Marlon DeFillo, and we were getting markers for the boats to go. Like, I knew where Bishop Martin's church was with the high steeple, so I would direct them in that direction for the New Orleans East Rescue. We had to get high landmarks because all the street signs were underwater. I mean, people didn't realize the challenges that we had. Simple things as identifying where we're at in the boats.
Yeah.
It was incredible, man. And, and Timmy Bayard and Donnie Curo never got the credit they deserve.
Who's that?
Captain Donnie Curo and Captain Timmy Bayard. They started the boat rescues with private boats. They both were like masters boatsmen. And that's what I put them in charge of. And I communicated with them on different protocols, how we're going to get the most people. They saved hundreds of lives.
Never talked about them.
People never talk about it. But they want.
But you just heard me say who.
They want a National Geographic. Timmy was, because I told him when they interviewed me, I said, I'm getting a lot of credit now, but I wasn't by myself. Reuben Stevens got the old people out of the RTA, and he brought those old people to Baton Rouge. They were carrying them on their shoulders. And when he got back from Katrina, he got fired because they say he left his post without permission, which is crazy.
Did they understand what was going on?
Oh, I don't know, because the chief at the time had a personal vendetta with Reuben, and I testified for Reuben Stevens, and he wound up getting his job back through civil service. This is the type of things that was going on that people didn't know about.
What about this young man that we hear about? I think this was West Bank, that hot-wired the school bus and packed all those folks in Algiers in that area and put them on that bus and drove that bus to Baton Rouge, and they arrested him for stealing the bus.
Wow, I didn't hear that.
They arrested him for stealing the bus.
That's crazy.
And I thought that was just like, how low can you go when you got all these folks that he just saved? That's crazy. And
people say, you say people's name on the radio and stuff, because I can speak twice. I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Mealy Mountain, Reuben Stevens, he got totally messed over.
Really?
Harry Mendoza, he got messed over. Yeah. I testified in their hearings and got them and helped them get their jobs back. People need to know the truth what happened. Because after I got fired, a lot of people that was close to me suffered. And that was unfair.
Yeah. Was that because they did something wrong, or were they close to you?
Because the powers that be didn't like me, and these people were loyal to me.
Yeah.
And I was gone.
Katie, if you had to ask them questions about Katrina, some of the stuff that you heard, what would that sound like? And I know you were used to being on the other side asking the questions, but
sure.
I'd love to hear.
I think just hearing these stories, hearing the effects still 20 years later. I know so many communities, not just here, so many communities still have not fully rebuilt or rebuilt at all. My Nana's neighborhood, the zoning was such, it couldn't be rebuilt. Those homes are still just, bases and grass at this point. So I'm curious for you, Chief, to you, as you look at your city now 20 years later, how does it resonate with you? Is it anything like the city that you remember before this happened?
It's semblances of what was there before Katrina, but it's nowhere near what it was before Katrina. A lot of our culture was destroyed as relates to the young people not knowing, a lot about New Orleans, because that history is gone. And then you got to understand, right after Katrina, when people came back, they were in shock. They were traumatized. People were gone for months and sometimes even years. And a lot of people never came back. Like my daughter, went to Atlanta and she never came back. She stayed there. A lot of people found other lives, other places. So we lost a whole generation of young people. A lot of the young people, they were so confused, because I heard stories of kids going to 5 and 6 different schools in a year. Could you imagine being moved around that much in 1 year, Gerard?
That's too much.
It's crazy.
And we saw all the fights that were starting.
Exactly. Then when in Houston, once the gangs from New Orleans got to Houston, I talked to some friends of mine on the Houston Police Department. They said, man, these dudes from New Orleans, they ain't nothing nice. I mean, the murder rate skyrocketed in Houston because them dudes from New Orleans who went down there, they ain't nothing nice. Them guys in Houston, they didn't know what they was in for. I'm talking about the gangsters in the violent world. So even the criminal element had to relocate. So I mean, it was crazy.
Bad.
It was bad. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I know that one of those areas, which you and I had that conversation, Lower Ninth Ward. Lower Ninth Ward, I don't think will ever be the same again.
No.
And there was such historical data about the Lower Ninth Ward. and that was the fact that, of course, when you're dealing with any type of redlining, racisms, or whatever, you had a lot of longshoremen, those folks that were working on the wharf, that wanted to buy homes for their family and couldn't. Not because they didn't have the money or the credit or whatever we want to talk about. It was because they didn't want them living in certain areas of the city. So they decided that they were going to go out here in the lower Ninth Ward and build their own homes for their own families, which became a very prominent area of the city because they knew that they had more folks that looked like them, could be like them, that were building their own homes to provide for their families. And with gentrification, with also the after Katrina green dotting and all those
Oh,
things.
man, remember
Yeah,
that?
that's a
Oh,
real
that was
thing, the
crazy.
green dotting.
That was crazy.
Because they wanted that land, and they wouldn't let them move back. And still people today lost a lot of their land, lost a lot of their homes. If it wasn't flooded or whatever, there's so much red tape to go through.
Right.
Couldn't get back. So, and then you have the Brad Pitt homes, where they started making those deals with those homeowners to take over their land and to get that and build these homes. But the materials that they were using were not conducive to the temperatures, to the, whatever here with the environment. And they started falling apart before 20 years. What, 10 years they started falling apart?
Yeah, a lot of them got
I think a couple of them got demolished.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they didn't do it. So, and then of course we had the ultimate. Oh boy. Now watch this. Everybody that's under the sound of our voice that had to deal with Road Home, 504-582-9422. Would you please tell Katie about dealing with Road Home?
You really want me to go there?
No, not
you.
You
know that's my
Not
trigger
you,
button.
Because you triggered. You were triggered. You need PTSD training.
Yeah, but
No.
Troy Carter took care of it, so I don't have to worry about that craziness anymore.
Okay.
But Road Home is a road ripoff.
So do you know about Road Home?
I do.
So, just to hear the folks that would sit here and just start crying because of Road Home, and then, show up and still nothing, and have to then deal with it again when you think you got it fixed, because they changed companies, and those companies would have your folders and stuff on the floor, and still going through it. I'm like, wow, this is a big ripoff. And then they would take all of their money off the top. Whenever that money was supposed to go to the people to get their homes fixed, they were taking $200-300 million off the top of those billions and get paid and not finish the work. I thought that was the biggest ripoff that I've ever seen.
The biggest part was that you were supposed
How did
to
you get in this conversation again?
because I'm a part of that Road Home craziness. The biggest thing is that they were supposed to give you $150,000. None of us in New Orleans got anything near that. Mississippi, Alabama, money was given to them. They did not have to pay anything back. They wanted to get the people that did what they were supposed to do here in New Orleans, because people took money and ran. They couldn't find them, so they come after the people that were here doing what they were supposed to do. How are you going to ask for a receipt that's on thermal paper that's over 5 years old? It's blank by that time. And I need to digress because I get triggered, but thank God for Troy Carter and Miss Bagnaris. Suzette. I drew a blank because I get heated. I forget stuff. I got CRS. So Suzette and Troy, they took care of us. They eliminated.
All right, you done?
And that's all I have to say.
Well, it certainly sounds like something that we'd want to look further into, but not just beyond what happened. How do we move forward now? What lessons do we learn from what took place over these last 20 years? Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion right now over, concerns with federal agencies providing disaster relief funding, and how is that funding managed?
Well,
should it be up in the
one thing I learned is if it happens again, I'm not taking anything for Road Home.
Because a lot of people had to take out loans.
You know what? Let's take a break because I'm
I'll be curious. Thank you.
Take the break. Miss
Yeah,
Matthews,
let's take a break.
Coming back. We're coming
Regroup.
back. Gotta go to the phones. Shouldn't have said that, should I?
How much time?
I do need to take a call. Our radio people want me to do something now. So I'll be back.
AURN News.
President Trump has launched a new attack on the Federal Reserve, announcing that he's firing Fed Governor Lisa Cook. The problem? Legal experts say he doesn't have the power to do that. Cook is the first black woman to ever sit as Fed Governor. She's accused by Trump of mortgage fraud. She calls the charge baseless and vowing not to resign. Her lawyer, Abe Lowell, says the move is flat out illegal. If Trump succeeds, it would give his appointees a 4-3 majority on the Fed's board, stacking the central bank with loyalists who back his push for lower interest rates. As a result, that could rattle markets and push up borrowing costs and undermine global confidence in America's economy. The Congressional Black Caucus pushed back, blasting Trump's attempts as racist, misogynistic, and unlawful. The first time in the Fed's 111-year history a president has even tried to fire a governor. The fight is headed for the courts and possibly the Supreme Court. For these stories and more, go to AURN.com.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 1230 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
This week marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. New Schools for New Orleans honors the strength of our city, our educators, and our students. Join us as we reflect, celebrate progress, and recommit to ensuring each child in New Orleans thrives.
If someone asks,
Yeah!
let them know you listen to WBOK. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, right back at you. A couple of minutes here before we got to get out. And coming up, we've got Arne and Carrie getting ready to take over at 6 o'clock. Our guests all day today. And, Chief, I got to tell you, thank you again just for, giving me that time and saying that we need to talk about some things and get it on. I need you to know that, these mics always on for you, bro.
I appreciate that, my brother.
So Miss Matthews is hanging on, too. Miss Matthews, thank you for hanging on.
Hi, how you doing, Gerod, Katie, and Naira? I just wanted to say, in general, every year around this time, I start suffering with depression. I have to really fight it, I say, because nobody understands that trauma is ongoing for a lot of people in New Orleans. And I was actually here for a few days after the storm. But what I wanted to say, I really start clicking out like Naira when it comes to a road home. Because not only did they put us through so many changes, and like him, I never received the $150,000 either. But the thing that, I guess you can say, the straw that broke the monkey's back was 15 years after I rode home. About, I think, a week after Ida passed, a sheriff showed up at my house telling me that I had to pay them $30,000 back.
Ooh.
And I started going into a depression. I was praying. And just one day, looked like, in the middle of the night, I woke up and God told me it was going to be all right. But anyway, to get away from this, I went to my daughter in Lafayette. And that's when I think David Hammer from Channel 4, somebody from ProPublica contacted me. And at first, I didn't want to do the interview because I told them, I said, I'm basically a private person. But when they told me how much they were going to pay the lawyers for suing us and bringing us to court, they were going to pay them more than they were going to collect in fees from the people who they were suing. So when I heard that, I got angry and I said, you know what, do my story. So that's when I let them do the story. And from what people are telling me, some of the excerpts are showing on Channel 4 even now, really? During Hurricane Katrina week. But like Katie was saying, in the future, to me, what the government can realize, by and large, most people didn't waste the funds. What they didn't realize, the magnitude of what it costs to basically just rebuild your whole life over, not just housing, clothing, cleaning supplies, personal care items, everything. So to me, in the future, one thing they can learn, maybe on some of these panels, they can put people who were in the trenches or everyday people like Chief Campus, Mayor Nagin, people who actually were there, because unless you were there, you had no idea of what people went through and what it takes to, to survive.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to say.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you, Miss Matthews.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Chief, I'm running out of time. I think we could probably have this conversation for another couple of hours, but your wife ain't going to be beating up on me.
No, she just called.
I know.
I told her I was going to be about 30 minutes.
I know you didn't.
It's almost 2 hours.
You said Gerard got me up in here.
Oh, I ratted you out. I definitely ratted you out.
I was like, friends.
Oh, I definitely ratted you out. Oh, yes. I definitely ratted you out.
You see what had happened was.
I know, baby. This was the conversation like I ain't here.
I've been knowing you wrong 40 years. You know how you put that pressure on me,
I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, man. Baby, I'll be there. But Gerard got me up in here. I had to look.
I can't believe he did that to me, baby.
He just did that to me. How he gonna do that to me? I was like, I just saw your wave. I can't. Now I'm gonna have to run when I see
That's
it
right.
again.
You saw Sunday. That's right. I forgot.
Oh Lord, say, brother. In all due respect, don't let nobody change you here.
No, I'm still me.
Don't let nothing change you to try to take away, because you did not have to do any of the work that you did, and I know that. What I saw just on Sunday, with all them police officers that showed up.
That was amazing, man.
That
blew me away.
Lieutenant Honore, both of y'all.
Lieutenant General.
Yeah, Lieutenant General. I'm sorry, not just Lieutenant. Give him his respect.
Yeah.
Both of you all are heroes, and I hope you look at it that way.
Let me tell you, those officers coming to me, they was with me during Katrina. They said, Chief, it broke our heart when the mayor forced you to resign.
Yeah.
But we want to let you know we still respect and love you. I mean, you saw it. I'm not making this up.
I saw it for myself.
They were all over. It was a blessing.
So I got to tell you, thank you, my brother, from all of us, everybody under the sound of our voice. And Katie has to do CBS radio right now, so that's what she's doing. So that's why she had to step off for a minute. She's doing her CBS radio interviews. And we'll have her back. I ain't even going to tell you we're going to have you back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you, my brother.
I love you, man.
Love you too.
All right. Coming up, Carrie and Arnie's up next. We will see you on tomorrow, y'all. Everybody hold tight.